Hello viewers, welcome to the show. When you need external validation, you will always be vulnerable and need it. There are people out here that cannot do without being validated by their friends, loved ones, fans, etc. So today's episode is about external validation being a cancer to this generation. Stay tuned. I have an incredible guest who will be talking to us about the same. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Briefly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Emmanuel Kimathi. I'm an accountant by profession, a manager in a particular financial institution, married, a father to 2 boys.
Right, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get to it. External validation being a cancer to this generation. Maybe start by telling us what external validation is.
Okay, so I think we need to first of all understand what is validation, first of all, and also understand that what is this validation now? Why are we calling it external? And also, when we are talking about external, we also there might be internal. So validation, of course, we may say, according to some definitions, is trying to, to be varied. As just the word is saying, validation, to be varied, to be up to date. See? Now, external validation now is where now we are talking about, personal attributes, strengths, and also emotional. When we are seeking now validation from others, from other people, issues about personal emotions and strength. Yeah.
Okay. It's not bad to be validated or even complimented. It's a good feeling. But now it's become something else. When you'll have to be validated for you to feel all. And I think that's where the main issue is. Can we talk about that?
Yes, what you can say is that validation, when we are talking about that validation, see, everybody likes to be validated by others, of course. Yeah. When you are born, when you look at the kids, when a kid is growing from being a small kid, every time we try to encourage the kid, telling the kid that, oh, wow, you've done good. I'm a father of 2 boys, so I know when I want to build their confidence, I have to validate their actions. Everybody likes to be validated. Even God, the Creator, said that he always likes to be validated. When we go to the church, say, you are a believer. When you go to the church, you worship God, you tell him, God, you are good, God, you are perfect, you've done me well. Without you, I cannot make. See, that is validation. Of course, it's good, it's a good thing, and it's a good feeling. It starts a good feeling within. Yeah. And that feeling now, when you start it, it is what now might give one a confidence, to face tomorrow. See, so external validation now, when you talk about it being an issue, it's when we overdo it. When you talk about it being a cancer, it's when we overdo it. You know, overdoing it is when I'm now not relying on myself. When we talked about external validation. Of course, there is internal validation. Internal validation is where you believe in yourself. You have that strength. You know, this is what I'm capable of doing. You know, you cannot be everything at any given time, right? So that external validation, now when you overdo it, now you shun validating yourself, and then you run. You're always seeking other people to validate you. And sometimes these people might be wrong, or it might give you a lot of pressure. So I think that is where we are having a problem. Validation, of course, external validation is something very good. We all like it. Yeah. And it depends with where you grew up. But what matters a lot is this validation. Are you now over-relying in it? That is a problem. Okay. Yeah.
So you agree with me that you don't have to, relying on or depending on external validation, you don't have to rely on that to feel complete or all?
Partially, I may agree with you. First of all, because, of course, you'll need some external validation, but don't overdo it, right? Yeah. Because when you say now, when I meet you, you are a girl, you've done your hair fairly well. See, you are we calling it hair? Or you go to the salon, your salonist does a good work over you. You have a very good dress. And I tell you, yo, I can see you are very smart today. See, now that is part of external validation. You yourself, when you came out of your house or wherever you are dressing from, you wanted to dress at least to be impressive. And now I have, acknowledged that you are smart. How will you feel?
Is it to be impressive or to feel good? Okay, do we dress to impress or for ourselves to feel?
Of course, at times that is why we have issues about. We have various dresses, of course. Now let's shift a retro and talk about the dressing. We have various dressing codes for various occasions, right? Yeah. Like you are going for a dinner. Will you dress as if you're in the office? No. When you are going to a wedding, you have to dress on an occasion. Yeah. And this dress now that you have must be impressive for that occasion. Else, you might be regarded as a person who has, umechoma event ya mtu. So we dress to impress, of course, and also to be, when you are smart, you feel you are comfortable, yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. So now that validation now, you might, overdo something. That is where now we may agree. We come to agree that when you rely so much on other people validation of whichever action that you take, you might lose your track as a person. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a short break and be back for more. Welcome back. So you find that when someone relies like sana on other people's validation, they end up losing themselves. Yes. And when you lose yourself, they'll start doing things that will please other people so that they can feel validated, or they can be validated by those people. Can we talk about the pressure that comes with all that?
You see, that is the word. First of all, we said that this is a nature of a man from creation. See, even the devil, when we talk, somehow I like quoting the Bible because I'm a Christian. And even if someone is not a Christian, even if he's from other religion, there is a being that they worship. Now, this worshiping is also external validation, isn't it? Now, what I'm saying here is that humans, the way they are, they try, they will always try to do things to please themselves and also to feel that they are complete. Now, that completeness cannot be complete without either you validate the thing, you say, yes, I've done it, it's perfect. Like God, when God created the world, the earth, we say the earth, isn't it? So when God created the earth, what you say is that on the seventh day, he said, wow, this work is good, it's complete. That is self-validation. Now, for us now, for humans, they are like God, where whatever, when you are alive, whatever you are doing, in whatever thing, regardless of either you like it or not, you must meet validation and also invalidation from people, right? But what happens is that people will never, very few people will invalidate whatever you're doing unless you are in conflict with them. So some of your friends, maybe your enemies, there are people who are fake, you are calling them fake friends. They might, try to validate an act that, you've done, maybe for their advantage, to take advantage over you. And then now when you rely over this validation for quite some time, it might become a disease. Where now whatever you are doing, you're not doing for yourself, but you are doing it to please other people, right? Take, for example, we are in the era of social media, right? We have Instagram, we have WhatsApp, Facebook, these social, TikTok. What people are doing currently, every day, neither a day passes in your, mostly we, like myself, I like going through the WhatsApp status. You'll find people always, they are posting, memes, not even memes, but themselves. I have kids. So you see, I've just told you that I am a father of 2 boys. Now I go take a good photo of them, then post it in the WhatsApp. What am I seeking? I'm seeking people to validate my kids. To congratulate me. Like the other day, I had a friend who had posted his kid who had just graduated from, I think, from PP, from grade, we are calling it PP2 to grade 1. And I found a very funny thing. He sent quite a derogatory term as a status in WhatsApp about about those people. And he said, if you happen to view this status and you fail to comment, to draw a comment, he drew a derogatory remark there, which I will not pronounce here. See, now this guy, yes, he has a kid. This kid belongs to him. It is his responsibility to educate the kid, to do everything good to the kid. But now after the kid graduates, he posts, that is from PP2 to grade 1, he posts a photo of the kid with a gown and says, if you fail to comment. That was the next status now. And I had not yet commented from the previous comment of the kid. So I felt, this guy wanted that validation, external validation. But he forgot one thing, that, this kid belongs to me. The kid will not belong to these people that are commenting. Yeah. Others might comment good comments, right? Because if it was our time, we never had a graduation from nursery to class 1. So the people that you're waiting to comment are those people that never underwent such. What if, because since then I've not yet communicated with the guy, I don't know what within his heart is holding over me because I never commented. So that thing is what is really hitting us, because whatever we are doing, if I build a house, I want to build a house that, when people sees it, they'll wananiheshimu. And then another thing, a very funny thing that usually happens in our times when we were young, we could see our uncles, our people build good houses, and then in those houses, there is a, what do we call it? There is the roofing, there is the tiles. When they are doing the tiles for the only room that will be tiled will be the table room. In other people, if you go to their bedroom or their kitchen, hakuna tiles. See? Hii ingine tunaitaje, kando na roofing, you find hiyo imefanywa tu kwa table room. So what are you trying to do? You are trying to please others, to gain that approval from others. You built a good house, but go to the bedroom, unaona paa za nyumba na mabati. See, that is the nature of men. Now the problem now comes in when you over rely on this thing. See, when I dress, I'm dressing for people, not for myself to be smart, but I'm dressing for people. Yeah.
Okay. What is the cause of all this? Do we blame our upbringing, our childhood?
Partially, we may blame our upbringing, and also blame the environments that we grew in, because first of all, what we've said, perhaps maybe when you are a small kid, that is inborn. I mean, not inborn, but is a character that is developed when a kid is growing. Where now a kid will grow knowing that I need to be acknowledged every time. People need to acknowledge my deeds, you see? Now, when the kid is growing, when the parents now are growing this kid, if they overdo it, right? Mtoto amefika miaka 10, you are still calling the baby kapaba. You want to congratulate him even for doing nothing, akioga too. Just a normal, you see, stages of growth. A kid akikula chakula, sababu, you see, these kids currently, they are not like us. We were waiting to get the food, but these kids, when they hear when you pronounce the food, they run away. When the kid now takes a spoon of ugali or any type of a meal, you are congratulating the kid. Oh wow, Papa, you've done it. You see, now this kid will grow knowing that every time I need to be acknowledged. Any deed that I do, I need to be acknowledged. Only for them to grow up and realize that this world now, when you grow up, when you reach a particular age, you are termed as a grown-up. Yeah. See? Like in our case, as Meru men, right? The Meru men are regarded as grown-ups immediately they get the initiation to adulthood. Yeah. That is circumcision, right? I remember when I got initiation and my dad visited me in that house, that initiation house, and he told me, now, you see, you are no longer a kid. And that is when now I was supposed to join Form 1. And now he's telling me now, at this stage that you are in now, you are already a man. You can marry, you can have kids, see? You can have kids. You can run your own family. So you are no longer a kid. So all the conducts of a kid or of a child, you need to leave them here. That was the meaning of initiation. Now the problem now is that we don't understand, first of all, we don't understand various stages of life, such that now we push the characters of from childhood, when we are supposed to be adults, we are still behaving as kids. And in that now, what is likely to develop is a character that we may call a narcissist character. You know narcissists? Those people that will tend to be good all the time.
Yeah.
People that even if they are the ones who have wronged you, they try to make it their wrongs is yours. Yeah. They want to be pampered. That is what our childhood could have contributed to such things. See now, like myself, I'm giving you an example of myself because that is how I grew. That I was privileged to have a father who gave me such directions. But what about these other kids who are growing up, either getting this validation from their parents or from their people, or not getting them at all? See?
Yeah. Now, before we get to those that don't get such kind of validation, yes. So hao watu wenye wamegrow kwa familia yenye wanavaliditiwa every now and then, so wanagrow wakijua nafaa kuwa na acknowledgewa na kuvaliditiwa kila time. What happens to such kind of people when they get into marriage or when they are adults and they are out there dealing with the world?
You see, now you have a grown up in terms of age who is in the mindset still a kid, right? This man now meets a girl, and you know, someone told me that wanaume hawapembelezwi, and I agreed to it. That mwanaume hapembelezwi. Kupembeleza ni kwa wadada, our sisters. Now this man now has grown up knowing that anafaa anafaa kuitwa majina mazuri, kupewa nini. Ni kweli, when they are dating, of course, they'll be calling each other good names, you see. But now the problem arises where now there are challenges, and this man has not known how to face challenges. All that he needs is to be called Papa, to be validated, having done a very small act, just staying in the house. You've given me a company now, you are Papa. What will happen when they are needed to stand as men in this house? Now we are talking about men, right? Yeah. When they are needed to stand as men in this house, they will never stand as men. So these girls now will end up being so distressed because this man is harassed where you're supposed to provide. He's not providing. Yeah, true. This man, what he's doing is blaming the wife for not having provided, the basics, food. Yeah. Yeah. See? Now for the women now, of course, if they grew up, there are stages, of course, of growth where women knew now, I'm in the age of marriage, right? And now we have a grown-up woman who is still a small girl. When she faces a small challenge, what she does, instead of sitting down and, looking for a solution, she is always looking for solution from others. Yeah. That is why now you find them going around the village, telling others, see, my husband does this and this and this and this. Some things that are very manageable, yeah. But since now these challenges arose, and the person has no capacity to handle it, because this person already has that reliance on, I must be given direction from others. So literally that is what is killing even the marriages today, the families today, because people are not able to, they are not problem solvers, they are not managers at all. Okay. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a short break and be back for more. Welcome back. Mr. Emmanuel, before we went for a break, we were talking about how these kids wenye wamegrow wakivaliditiwa inawa affect when they become adults. Now, what about the kids that grow without being acknowledged or validated?
Without being validated. First of all, what when we started the show, we said that validation is a good act. See? Validation builds a morale. Validation builds a confidence. See? Even yourself. You know, I found when I was in Orange, and sometimes I was doing CPAs. CPAs, the Certified Public Accountants exams. Then there was one paper that was quite hard. I felt it was extremely hard. Then, one time in the library, I had failed twice. You know, CPA is not something simple. I had failed twice. And then I was telling one person, kando na hizi mitihani zote, ile tu itafanya niachane na CPA ni this quantitative analysis. You know what the guy told me? Quantitative analysis? Really? I don't think that is hard. I think the way I know you, and the way I know you are able to tackle mathematics, you have the capacity. Then I felt, yeah. So you see now, that was a validation that came from someone. He validated me on the basis of I am a mathematician, right? So what you are saying is that validation is good. Now we have these kids now that are always abused. Kids that are taken as if they were, I mean, it happens as if they were begging for permission to be born. Yeah. You see? They are mistreated by their parents. Yeah. See, well, their parents could be treating them well, but their parents could be in a position where, so we've grown in different family setups, where now you are a kid, your father or mother, or both of your parents they don't have any position in the society. So the way, I mean, they are disregarded. I mean, they are not respected in any way. Yeah. Their opinion does not count in any forum of a community. Now, such kids, their parents, of course, might be cheering them up. But now when they go outside, you know, these kids might be regarded by the community in the way that their parents are regarded, right? Because that is how we grew. So you find them, even when they become people that could be reliable in the community, you find some other people, they're the ones that are giving them directions on what to do when they are supposed to stand for themselves. So these people, these kids that are not given any validation at all, we said validation is good, but they should not go over. I mean, the one that is taking that those opinions from people, those validating opinions, should not, you know, take them fully. Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Emmanuel, yes. There are a number of people out there that are craving for external validation. What do we do to, or what should they do to mitigate the issue?
Mitigate the issue of external validation. Yes. First of all, we've agreed that external validation is not a bad thing if done the right way, where you need to be acclaimed by people, to be, you know, praised, where praises are needed, right? Yeah. But every time needing, you know, to be validated by people, to be regarded, to be respected. One thing that people should do, or we should do, one thing we need to examine our childhood, you know, our childhood experiences, the way we grew. We examine, was it a tendency, was it a character of the people that you grew up with to always validate us? See? So when we are able now to understand the kind of setup, the growth, I mean, our childhood, the experiences that we had, from that point now, we are able, you know, to understand ourselves better and to know if we overdo it, we overseek public or even external validation from others. Secondly, we can try to avoid invalidating people, right? Yeah. The reason why we are seeking validation is we want to feel good, right? And the minute we realize that we are relying on this validation, we need to understand that this is a problem and it's affecting our emotions. Yeah. The fact that now it's affecting our emotions and we are living with, we start interacting with people that are invalidating us. They are not now validating us, but invalidating us. What is going to happen, what is likely to happen if every time they invalidate us, and we've always been relying on validations, what is going to happen? They are going to affect our emotions, our esteem is going to be lowered, and we may even be affected mentally and develop some stress, depressions. And when depression is healed, it's not, people don't get healed fully. And if they get healed fully, what happens? They develop another condition that is not likely to be, to be helpful in one's life. That is the condition that we call bipolar disorder. Now overreacting, the opposite of depression. So avoiding these people that invalidate, as we did now with the past, with the childhood. The other thing is trying to look for the tools that are, going to help us understand ourselves better. When we've said that these people that we always seek external validation, these people have not yet understood themselves. They've not yet understood their uniqueness. You see, even if, like for example, you have your parents, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There is the way they know you, and there is the way you know yourself, right? Yeah. Now, the way you know yourself and the way they know you is quite different. And only you is able to understand yourself much better. Only if you choose to seek more to understand yourself more. That thing is to understand, to teach ourselves now to self-validate, right? Okay. Self-validation is where when I do something that is good, I appreciate myself even before waiting to be appreciated by others, isn't it? So we teach ourselves to validate ourselves. At the same time, we need also to teach ourselves to forgive ourselves. That is developing that culture of, I've done a mistake, and this mistake maybe is affecting me because according to the way I'm expecting others to validate me. Now, since they are not going to validate me based on the mistake, and I know this is a mistake that I've done, so this thing might affect you so much such that you are, in your mind, you are asking yourself, how will people say about me? You are not minding about yourself. You are minding about how are people going to say. How are they going to talk about myself, right? Yeah. Now, developing that culture of, regardless of what has happened to myself, I'm responsible over my life. So if I go wrong, I'm able to forgive myself and move on, and without, carrying that burden of baggage of how will other people say. Plus many other tools, of course, that are available, so that a person might be able to nourish. The core issue here is understanding oneself and be able to appreciate the talents that you have as yourself, not living life for others, but for yourself. Understanding that your action, regardless of you are living your life, understanding that still this life that you are living, in one way or another, is affecting others. Yeah. But do you live this life for other people? No, you are living it for yourself. But since you live in a community, your actions are answerable to
the community. Yeah. So, Mr. Emmanuel, internal validation, Does that mean loving yourself more, believing in yourself, doing you?
Yes, you need to appreciate yourself, because what even the Bible says is that love others as you love yourself. See? Now, this act of love, what does it mean? Appreciating the uniqueness of you. See, everybody was created in a unique way. That is why there shall never be another person like you. Even the science has proved it, that there are some characters, there are genetic makeup in you that shall never come out in another human being. So loving yourself means appreciating that you came as a very unique person to do a very unique activity in that family, in that in wherever you go. So that one thing that we need to do is loving ourselves. And this love, you see, people might not understand what is love. You know, that affection, that is knowing that it's myself, not negatively loving yourself. You know, you can negatively love yourself. Yeah. Where initially we had talked about narcissists, people that will, I mean, the action that they do, they are so mean that they are doing them to their own advantage, affecting another person, but to their own advantage. That is not loving yourself. Because if someone loves himself, that is the action that this person is doing is an action that is adaptive to another person, you know, to the next person that, you know, they could be living with or doing an act that is good. So what I'm saying is the first act, the major act, is appreciating oneself's characters and understanding that my characters are unique. And also, I'm not complete. I cannot complete this world. I cannot complete the community with myself. So I need to appreciate others also, right? So with that, even if others don't validate my life, see, even if I don't have a very good house, you see, people are so material, such that, you know, in our time, when we were in school, we were learning, we went to school so that we may get educated. After getting education, we may get employment. After getting employment, we may have money, we may have good families. For men, houses. For men, of course, we marry very beautiful girls that when we move around, people are saying, yes, hapa umeweza. You know, that is for men. Hapa uliweza. Then, this act, of course, is trying to get a validation from others. So these acts that we are doing, the acts of loving ourselves, should not affect others, but we should appreciate that we are in a community that needs, that we are responsible for our actions, right? So we need to appreciate ourselves, understand our uniqueness, understand whom we are, what we are supposed to do, and deliver what we came to do, because this life is quite short.
When you don't validate yourself, you criticize yourself. So you got to love yourself, accept yourself. Yeah. So, Mr. Emmanuel, as we conclude, what do you tell people out there that will be watching this episode?
One thing that I would love to tell those that will be watching these episodes is that, first of all, let us learn to manage external validations in ourselves. At times people may praise us, at times people may call us good names, but what they mean is totally different from, what they are saying is totally different from what they mean, right? So what we need to do, first of all, is to appreciate that validations will be there, and the world here outside is quite mean, so we need to appreciate ourselves and seek to have that inward validation from ourselves, where we are understanding ourselves better than seeking external validation. Secondly, I would like to thank you so much for hosting me, and also appreciate the good work that you are doing. You know, this world is moving faster than people's thoughts. Thank you.
You've heard it from Mr. Emmanuel. Help us by subscribing to our channel, Golden Act TV, ARC. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a video, and share with as many people as you can. Thank you.